So hello everybody, this is Mel Corcino with Mel Corcino Drum Talk. We're making history today. This is our first ever drum talk, and I am blessed, and it's a privilege for me to have Will Ridgway from WPR Stave Drums from Connecticut joining us today. So let's start this conversation. How are you doing?
Good, Mel. I want to thank you for having me on here as well to be able to promote and show what we're doing.
Oh man, my pleasure, dude.
Yeah.
I'm super blessed to know you, to know about your products, and actually to own two snare drums. You can see them over here. To be honest with you, man, this drum has become my favorite drum. I take it to every gig. I play it there. I have recorded it. I'm planning on bringing it to other recordings with some local artists, and it's great, man. The work that you are doing is awesome.
I appreciate that because this is so new for me, and for me, I love to woodwork. And a few years ago, woodworking kind of took a nosedive. Actually, furniture, I should say. But at the same time, I've been involved with music and have played music all my life. So to be able to incorporate woodworking with making drums, and we'll get to that afterwards, but I have a great team behind me as well too. So
Awesome.
And also for me, it's an honor for me to be able to make drums for artists as yourself, to be able to play these and record with them. You know, a lot of people don't realize that for me, that is all what it does for me. I do suffer from a mental illness, so for me, being able to make drums, it means more to me than to making money or to what's really important for me is to be involved in someone's product, and then to deliver it, and then for them to be super happy with what they have, but then to see what they go and what they do with that, whether it's recording, touring, or whether it's playing every gig that they're playing at. But it fills my heart to know that these drums are going to a special place.
Awesome, Will.
Yeah.
Well, we are blessed to have you around, man. I know many players around here, our community, that they are loving your drums and your products, and hopefully, I know that you are not in for the money, but I'm very positive that as you continue your hard work and putting all your energy on this, man, a lot of people gonna be blessed with this, man.
Yeah, and it's a balance because I'm terrible at figuring out pricing and all that stuff, and in the early days I tended to want to give everything away because I wanted people to play the drums so badly. But at the same time, I have to understand that you have to be paid for the work that you're doing, and they're not cheap by any means to make the drums, but to get them right, to sound right, and to be the best product. And I'm still learning. And like I said, I have a great crew behind me that we're dialing this in. And I work with you too, Mel, on testing, and you have a great ear and a great tuning knowledge of getting, like Dan said too, and obviously we're mutual friends with Dan, but each drum and each wood has its own place where it likes to be, So, and that's the unique thing about it is like, you have two oak drums, you can never go wrong with oak. They sound amazing, but like maple, and everybody has their preference on what they prefer to play on. So, and for me, the stave drum is a different take. I'm not by any means inventing the wheel, but we all do our own take on drums. So, like, I may do a different take than the guy that's doing stave drums as well, and that's the beauty of it. Whether how thick our shells are, or the bearing edges, or anything. And so it's a journey out there, and I think all of us are on that journey, and I think it's an amazing one to be on. Positive, to bring us in a positive format, to
Awesome.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I agree 100%. And now that you mentioned these two drums, like, can you walk us through
Yes.
the two drums, the dimensions,
Yes.
everything that
Yes.
you did with it?
Yes, now this shell is a 6.5, all white oak. It's a 3/8 shell. As you can see, that the porthole is actually not in the front. Sometimes I actually hide them in the back. Actually, some of the drums may even get two, depending on the size, tuning of it, where we're actually going with it. But you got 4-inch two lugs on it. The less lug on there. This is just all my personal preference, but from research and talking to so many people, and I'm playing, the less that's actually on your shell is actually the more resonant. You know, that the drum can actually sing a little bit, but compared to like, but that, you know, also with dampening, all of us know about moon gels and doing so. But everybody has their own take on it. But the shell is a 6.5 by 3/8 thick. Now I do a different take on bearing edges, and it's not about holding secrets and all that. There is no secrets for me to hold. Everybody does their own thing. Like for me, I am a sharp 45 with a sharp edge on the out, no round over for me.
Oh,
I
see.
found that the drums are just very articulate on going that route. And the funny thing is that I did a different take for you, Mel, on this drum. Actually, this shell is a little bit thinner for the articulate side on that. So I actually did 3/8 on that, and this is actually just under 3/8, which is a thinner shell, but actually more projection
I
for the
see.
drum shell itself, you know, and, you know, obviously on the smaller piccolos, you know, you got to have the right, the proper, you know, for throw-offs and butt plates, because I've learned, and I'm sure other people have too, that, you know, I have a lot of shells at home that are non-usable. Beautiful shells, because, you know, you find out the hard way sometimes, you know, and it's like there's no written book on anything on it. We're all, you know, striving to have the best sounding snares, and it's not to say like that's what I'm trying to have a better sounding snare than anybody. I build these snares because there's a certain sound that I personally like, and that's what I'm aiming to build, because I want WPR drums to be their own drum. You know, to have their own standard, or to have their own way of sounding compared to anything else, you know? Because I'm influenced by so many builders out there, you know? And I also have to say, too, is that the drum community has welcomed me with open arms, because you never know when you get involved with this, because people that I've become friends with have actually are people that I'm actually, I don't want to say like they're my competitors, because we're all friends, but we're all making drums. But in the end, we all are trying to sell drums. And it's not that I'm trying to get anything over them and they're not trying to get anything, but we're all in the same boat, as that we all want to sell drums, and everybody has their personal preferences. And I'm just trying to make, I'm a guppy in the ocean, you know, and everybody tries to make somewhat of a splash of what they're doing, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying. I want to stay small. I'm the only person building the drums. My good friend that I build out of his shop, he's an engineer by trade, so everything is done to specs. He doesn't build the drums. I build everything, but I actually work with him to make sure everything is 100%.
Yeah, you mean like the tolerance of the things that you're talking
everything.
about?
Yeah. So on CAD, we're doing CAD, so we know exactly what. Like a lot, these shells are all one species, so they're white. They're white oak. But some of the other shells that I'm doing are two species, whether it may be white oak on the outside, maybe purple heart on the inside, or vice versa. So then you start doing different things. So there's always, you know, there's always something new, trying to kind of. You know, and then now there's some new stuff that we're doing. It's nothing new to the industry, but for me, is what I'm doing is a lot of inlay work too. You know, which I think is not only is it fancy looking, but it also really gives an interior design and also quite a unique sound in there. Like I have a shell that I'm doing coming up that's purple heart and black birch on the inside. And it's going to be, I think, such an amazing combination for that sound. Actually, that shell is going to be, for those who know drumming, if you don't know who Zach Doobie is, you should look him up, because he's an amazing drummer. But that drum's being made for him. But it's for a different sound, you know. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. I can tell you in my experience, man, what I love about this one, the 6.5 by 14 white oak, like you mentioned, is number one, is deep. Like it has a lot of depth when I play it, but at the same time, it's articulate.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that if I'm gonna do some rolls on it, things like that. you can hear that, and that is articulate. But at the same time, for the kind of music I'm playing, sometimes I need that depth too, and I have it there. But at the same time, there's some crack to it.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
So of course, you build them, and it's awesome, dude. I'm really happy. This one I just got it today, so I just play it a little bit. We're gonna put in the video some sound bites about how these drums sound, but I'm excited just to take it out, put it here in the studio, and just play it and see how I feel about it from the get-go. I'm loving it already.
Yeah.
But I will give you more details as I continue playing it.
Yeah, and I love that because the feedback for me, and I always look at it as never like a what do you want to call that, critical critiquing and stuff like that. I don't take offense to that at all, because you gotta have tough skin, because everything you make is not always going to sound great, and I've already gone through that. I've already found thickness of shells. I mean, I was doing shells at one point half-inch thick, and maybe you go back and visit that maybe down the road somewheres, but I just really felt like they were, I don't want to say boxy, but they didn't have what they have now. And we've changed the bearing edges. So, I mean, it's just everything. And like you said, to have that body, but also to be able to have crack, to have your rim shots, to have everything that you're looking for in, kind of the one and done drum, at least for your set. Or you can have this, once you learn this guy on where you want to set, you can have, your two setups, if in case you want to play off have two snare setups in case you want to do that. Or it's, it's there for another gig for whatever, so. Yeah, and I thank you, Mel, because I met you through a mutual friend, Dan, and that was a long time ago at a show, and things have come so far from there. But for you to take interest and to actually put your trust into, have someone build a drum for you. So, because a lot of people don't understand, is like that drum right there, or this drum right here, you can get the same measurements at a store and all that kind of stuff. But you're not going to get these drums anywhere because they're built for you. They're boutique drums. They're one-offs. Yeah. And that's what I like doing, because for me, you're not going to be able to buy that drum down and I know you had customization with everything, and it's beautiful that there's so many memories and a lot of stuff that goes along with that drum like that. But like every drum is always going to be different, because of the style, the build, and whatnot, and who it's for, and like depending on what style of music they play, and also requests. If I got a customer that wants me to build an inch thick drum, I'll he's going to get the inch thick drum.
Awesome.
So whatever the boutique is, and it's kind of, for me, it's kind of opened my eyes up too, because there's no limitations on what I'm going to, and just recently we're starting to dive into some inner muffling systems. And I know that like it's already been done over and over and over, but it'll be our take on it and stuff. And I really like we've experimented with it. It hasn't been out yet, but it's coming.
Awesome. All right, so that is great. I think at some point in our talk, we want to focus a little bit on providing the information to the people that are watching, so they know how to contact you and how get some of these for themselves. But I wanted to ask you, I'm curious about understanding, when was the moment that you realized that this is something that you wanted to do?
Okay, this is a great story, and it's a long one, but I'm going to condense it all down into a shorter version, so that, because obviously it would take. Okay, our mutual friend Dan and I. So
let me stop you there. That's Dan CC, drummer with Nick Bossy here in Connecticut. So dear friend of ours, and we are just loving the guy, and he's a great player. So we met through that.
Yeah, Beastly Beats.
Yeah. So thank you, Dan, for that. That was awesome.
Yes, and it's so funny, because back then I was doing a lot of woodworking, and I'm still playing and all that stuff. But I was playing on already built drum snares and stuff. But Dan knew that I woodworked, and we both were working at the same high school at the time. And he knew that I was woodworking, so he had sent me. And so the funny thing is, I still have it all on my phone. He sent me all this information on building these stave drums. I had no idea what they were, but when I saw all the stuff that and they had to do jigs, and each one built differently. I mean, I do them totally different than a lot of different people do. But he sent me all the stuff, and I looked at it, and it was so intimidating because it was like everything had to be perfect, and you had to build these jigs, and it was so much math involved. I was kind of like, no way. So, and the funny thing is, after that, it wouldn't be too long after that, maybe 10 years later, we would be at a drum store together. And we were downstairs looking at snares and just looking at all these different things. He was hitting on a snare drum across the room, and I looked over and I said, it sounded so good to me. I immediately turned around and said, what is that? So it ended up being this drum from a guy, he's out of Boston, his name is Dave Cheney. So come to find out, at that time didn't even know that I was buying a Stave snare drum. I just loved it because it sounded incredible.
Okay.
So come to find out, I looked who this guy Dave Cheney was, and he only made 50 of these drums a year, and they went out to special drum shops, and he did this and so. But I saw how he made them, and they were Stave drums. So that's how that whole thing came about. And I was still making furniture, but long story short, the furniture business kind of took a dive, and then I would revisit the snare drums of actually getting to making Stave drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
So that's
a great story.
And then obviously my friend, that knows we dove into it, and it's crazy because you can, there's 22 Stave. I make 22 Stave drums, but there's people make 20, 32. I know Sugar Percussions makes, I think it's 32. So there's everyone has their own take on it. I do 22. I like the size of the staves, and there's not there's not 32 of them. There's only 22 for me, which there's more wood involved in it to me.
I see.
So yeah.
Awesome, man. That's a great story. Yeah, man. And so I wanted to ask you also for curiosity. Do you have any mentors on this that you go to get ideas or to help you out, or have you built this just by trial and error?
Trial and error, I want to give a special thanks to, because this is where I work out of his shop and his family, and I've known him for a very, very long time. I want to give a big special thanks to Robert Doran and his family, because I've known them for a very, very long time, and he allows me to work out of his shop to do what I'm doing, and he also can overlook and see things if I run into an issue or problem. He is a very brilliant man and a very, very blessed brain to do the things that we're doing, because we're doing some really cool stuff, especially coming up with exotic woods. I'm a big fan of exotic woods. They're super hard, super cool sounding. Every one of them have their own unique sound. But I give big thanks to Robert, because he kind of took me under his wing to do this stuff, and it's been a trial by error, by learning the different techniques and glue ups and how things work. It's got to be 100%, but people spend good money, big money on drums, and they're gonna get what they're spending on, So, and I'm not, for me, I'm not. I'm not so expensive where you can't afford it, but at the same time, you're gonna get a beautiful drum.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can testify. The price is reasonable for the snare drum that you're getting. It is a beautiful piece of art. I'm telling you, mine was customized, and I added some names into the shell that are very important to me and my story of how I got here. As well as, I added the Puerto Rican flag, the United States flag into it. We have the opportunity to work with, what is her name?
Louise.
Louise, that's right. And she did the art on it. It was awesome just getting to meet these people and working with them. They're all local people that they love what they do. And you know, it's a pleasure working with them. So now that we're talking about that, how people can get in touch with you?
Okay, they want to get in touch with me, they can actually call my personal number, which is 860-334-0459. If you don't get a hold of me, which is a lot of times you may not, because if I'm in the shop, I obviously cannot hear a single thing. But please leave a message or a text message, and I will get back on anything and call you immediately and go over any questions you may have or ideas, or I can even give information on if they have questions on what they're thinking, or like, you know, because a lot of people don't realize, like, these grain patterns right here, these are all run on a vertical. Now I also do grain patterns on a horizontal too, so it's definitely different take on sound wise too. We've been doing a lot of experiences with that, and also too for grain orientating, which means that I can take one solid piece of wood and then make your drum where it wraps around that whole thing.
Oh,
not
cool.
not in a I'm talking in wood form.
Yeah.
Not in vine what do you call it? I can't think
Like
of it.
apply?
Yeah, not apply. But
Okay.
in real wood.
Oh, I see.
But make that design that goes all the way around that they connect, all in pure wood.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
you say like a wrap? Not in a wrap, you do it in a like in real wood.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So
Yeah, awesome.
and I'll work with anybody. I don't do plies, and I have nothing against them. I just, for me, I do staves. I fell in love with this style drum and the sound, and they all sound great. I don't want anyone to think staves is where you need to, you know, make your drums out of. Not at all. Everyone to each their own. You know, I love staves because of how I work, you know, as far as being involved on working with materials. And it's crazy too, because they just took a historical tree down in our neighborhood to put up. They're putting a fireplace there. I mean, a fire station. But they took the tree down, so I was able to actually go there. And they actually lobbed off a couple pieces for me, and I, you know, of course, I put it through my car and went home with it. But I'll be making a drum out of that. Now that was beech, and that tree's been there since I've been a kid, and they finally took it down to do what they're doing, and it's got to be almost a 200-year-old tree.
I see.
So for me, it's special. Stuff like that's pretty
Yeah,
special, you know.
sure,
Even
sure.
the stuff I have now, like some of the, even my own personal drum that I'm playing at home right now is that, because I do, and I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I also mill wood too. A friend of mine has a mill, and we mill wood too. So some of those drums, we mill the wood for it. You know, I'm actually playing on a maple drum right now, wormy maple, that actually dried the wood, went on the mill and everything, and I'm playing on it now. So it's pretty
Nice,
special. Yeah.
nice.
So
All right. Is there a website or something that people can find
Yes.
you to information about the drums?
Yes, and I didn't mention too. I also want to give a big special thanks to CZ, Beastly Beats. You also may know him as Nicky Labrada.
Yeah.
He's got many different names on Instagram or on Facebook.
But the same spirit, right?
The same spirit.
Oh,
Yeah. And
It's
he's a
awesome.
childhood friend of mine.
Yeah.
I want to thank Dan also Shakusky for all the things that he's doing, because he's been helping out with all the testing as well, going to his place. He's had so many different ideas, especially with the drums being at 3/8. So there's a special team that goes along too. It's not just me that, you know, taking the credit, but there's also people.
Sure.
But I'm the only one building the drums, and I want to keep it that way.
Awesome.
I don't want to be, you know, a big, you know, where I can't make people's drums.
I see.
I want to make people's
No,
drums.
awesome.
Mentally, it's
yeah.
good for me, you know.
I understand, man.
Yeah.
That makes sense to
Yes,
me.
yeah.
Awesome. So then, are you also in social media like Instagram, Facebook?
Yes. Instagram, Facebook, under WPR Stave Drums. You can look it up. You'll find it. You'll see the great thing about those sites. It's a great platform where you get to see these being made. So you actually can see the drums from, actually there's even stuff on there of them being in slabs, from rough lumber to a working instrument, which is super cool for me. To
Awesome.
see it from that to that, and it's not like, we're talking months and months and months. I'm talking, I can go from, rough lumber to working drum in, less than a month.
Wow.
If you needed it in a month for a gig, that drum's going to be there for you.
Awesome. Great to know, man.
Yeah, so.
All right, so we're gonna put some of those videos in this video as part of the interview, so people can see, and also we'll put some of the information for your social media, so people can contact you.
Yeah.
So, my friend Willie, this been
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for stopping by and be part of this experiment, man.
Yeah, man.
Definitely, I know the drumming community here in Southeastern Connecticut is loving what you're doing. I know personally I'm loving it. I get great reviews and feedback from sound people, as well as when I do recordings, people that hear the recordings. So you're doing a beautiful thing. Just keep doing it, man. We need more people like you around us, man.
Well, Mel, I can't thank you enough, because not only, and it's not about just buying snares, anything like that, but to work with you as well, too. Because I mentioned Dan, but also working with you as well, too, because you have the nickname The Doctor.
Yeah.
And it's for a reason, because you're very particular on your sound and getting there. And your playing speaks for itself. And for me, Dan, for me to be able to meet you and then work with you has been a blessing for me. So
awesome,
thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for, for setting this whole thing up, because, it's a wonderful, because, we're small out there, and it doesn't mean that you're any less, and I don't want people to think like that, because you're local and things like that, and you just because you're not in the main media stream, doesn't mean what you have isn't a good thing or whatever,
Exactly.
We belong to a small community that's special,
Yes.
For me, that, like a handful of friends is better than having a stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, don't
of
get me
people
wrong.
that you don't know, right?
Exactly.
You don't have any connection.
Exactly, and it's important for me. I'm a very I don't have a lot of friends, and it's not because I don't want friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I'm a very private person,
Sure,
and yeah. So I can't thank you enough for giving me a platform, and I thank God, because I look back, and not to get, I don't want to go, get too crazy, but.
Mm-hmm.
I look back, and it's been such a blessing to do all these things, because I deal with depression, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to all these different things.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, and this stuff is like medicine for me, because being in the shop and playing drums and going through and talking drum shop, and all that stuff. It's an amazing thing, and God has blessed me to have that in my life. And along with this stuff, I mean, it's, and as far as this journey goes, I mean, I'm going to ride this as far as it goes.
Sure.
And
you have to do it. You have to do it,
exactly.
Right?
And if I don't, I kick myself in the butt for not, for saying, why didn't I try, and for anybody out there aspiring to do something like that, I encourage you to, because you know what, you'd be surprised how many people out there will get behind you and support you. I'm a lot of people that I didn't even know have been super nice to me. And I've met a lot of nice people, and I still am. But it's like it's just like for me, I this was going to be the worst thing for me is social media, because I love building and doing all that stuff, but then I understand that social media comes with it. That how does anybody know you have a product if you're not out there? So that's been a learning curve, for me, because I've never, I always like to hide behind something. I don't want to be in the forefront of stuff, but you have to do it, So I'm learning.
Yeah, me too, man. And hopefully, maybe my 75 subscriber will grow to 80, and you get 5 new also through this interview. And that's the idea. The idea is for this channel. The idea is for us locally, the drumming community, just to come together and have a place where we can share ideas, in our playing, and grow as a community. So it's a blessing to have you in our community doing something special as you are doing. And you know, I know that you mentioned that you are new and that your company is not big, but dude, you are making beautiful instruments. So
thank you.
As long as you keep putting your energy, your passion, your goodwill into it, it's nothing is gonna happen other than it's gonna keep growing.
Yeah.
So you know, kudos to you for just being doing it, and you know, I wish you a lot of success. And
thank you.
I know this is not the end. All the opposite. This is the beginning. All right.
Yeah, and also too. If anyone catches this too, July 18th and 19th, WPR Drums is going to do the National Drum Show.
Awesome.
So if you're in the area or if you're out there and if you do catch this, come see us and come play on them. Because actually when we do, a lot of times when I do videos, and today we're very blessed because Mel is has really set us up today with his wonderful setup too. So, but normally I'm not recording with any kind of basically a room mic, you know, camera mic. So the drums in person I think sound even better than they do capturing that. But you know what? If you have a chance and you're in the area and you're there for the show, come in the booth and stop down and play on them. See what you think. Honest, you know, honest opinions is always welcome.
Awesome.
So.
All right, so I want to thank you.
Mel, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, it's been super fun. So hopefully we'll do it again, let's say in the 100th episode.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how things have been growing, have been growing from 2 days to the 100th episode, okay?
Yeah, and I'll be on the other side watching the interview.
All right, awesome, man.
All right.
Well, guys, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this interview, and then you're going to see some information about Will and how you can contact him, and hopefully you can connect with him. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night. Thank you.